What's going on, guys? It's your average consumer, and it's time for a day in the life with the new MacBook Pro with its new touch bar. Now, we're going to be spending a full day with the new MacBook Pro, and since it has a few changes, we're going to see how those changes impact the day-to-day. We're of course going to take a look at the performance and of course how that new touch bar works. So today we're spending the day with this guy, the MacBook Pro. New one with the touch bar, 15 inches. So let's see, use unlock with touch ID. There I go, some social blade for you. Now obviously this doesn't have the ports, so I've got some of the gear that I mentioned in my top 5 accessories video. So this is the Satoshi hub, so let's plug that guy in, and with that I can use my Final Cut Pro and all that good stuff. But I did just drop a new video, so I should probably respond to some comments, as you guys know I do, and try out this keyboard. And it's good to just respond to you guys, because I mean, I'm killing 2 birds with 1 stone here, luckily. Trying out this new keyboard. This is a Butterfly 2 keyboard. Now, Apple made this with their 12-inch MacBook, and I did not like it. It felt way too flat, but this feels a lot better. And it's something you can get used to over time. I just couldn't get used to the 12-inch. Now, something that I can't get over and I'm not getting used to at all is the giant trackpad. Now, if you guys look here, this thing is massive. It's way larger than the original MacBook Pros. And it's actually not as much of a blessing as I thought it would be, because I tend to rest my palm on the trackpad as I'm doing stuff. And it usually ends up with this happening. Palm on the trackpad, try to click something, and that's a right click. It is so annoying. And I was able to replicate that on first try. So just think about how often that happens to me when I'm just trying to browse. Look at that. And I went back. Definitely not what I want to do. I don't know. I got to get used to it. Maybe it's a matter of me learning to work in the middle of the trackpad. But it's a learning curve, and it sucks. Now, while I may personally not find any real use for a much larger trackpad, it's going to be good for some creators, artists, people who tend to use the trackpad for getting some creative work done. I just got to get used to it, huh? But I know you guys are probably wondering mostly about this touch bar. Now, I have some mixed feelings about this. I'm definitely excited to see this thing develop and grow. But I do have some qualms with it, some things I don't really like. The thing that I dislike the most about this is that it falls asleep. So if you're doing something and then you need to hit the escape button, let's say you're watching a video, you gotta hit the escape button, you gotta tap it and then tap it again. Whereas with a regular MacBook Pro, you can just hit the escape bar and boom, you're done. Ari's actually been having her own issues with the touch bar. So as you can see, you can hit emojis, of course, but sometimes they don't work for her. Obviously it works here, but it's infrequent, really. So she might be able to use it sometimes, but a lot of the times now, I think she's had a few tries where they just didn't work. Now, for Thunderbolt 3 ports, like it or hate it, one thing that's really cool is that you can now charge it on any side. Usually it's on the left. Over here, depending on where your outlets are, you can just plug in. And as you can see, this is me in the middle of an edit right now. I'm pretty much done with this one. This is gonna be an exciting video. If you have not seen it, I don't know which of these 2 videos will go up, but I'll have this video linked down below in the description. One cool thing though, just so you guys can get a sneak peek, is that the speakers on this are amazing. Check this out.
What's going on, everyone? It's your average consumer, and this right here behind me is what I'm calling the fire setup.
Alright guys, right now I'm just packing up because I'm about to head over to John's office because he has the new LG 5K monitor in there, and I'm gonna see what it's like to edit some video there. Hey guys, this is Austin. Not really. Obviously, this is Austin's office, but over here we have the LG 5K display. Now this is gonna go perfectly with the new MacBook. It's made for it. But LG decided to sponsor today's video so I can put the 5K display through its paces and see how it works while I'm doing my editing and all the regular stuff I do with my new MacBook. So sadly, this is the life of someone with a MacBook Pro. You're gonna have to connect dongles and all kinds of stuff before you really get anything done. But what's cool is while this thing does have 4 Thunderbolt 3 ports or USB Type-C ports, the LG monitor actually has a few as well. So back here, we've got another Thunderbolt 3 port and 3 USB Type-C ports. And as you can see, I just dropped it down a bit. And that's because this thing is adjustable. So you can adjust it how you want to whatever height, move it however you want. So there's some pretty good flexibility here, depending on how tall you are. I'm short, so I put it all the way down. Now this is a workflow that I'm pretty excited about. Now, for those of you who don't do any video editing or Photoshop, stuff like that, I apologize for the nerdy stuff, but this thing is just cool. I've got my timeline down here and all of my video clips, and typically I would have a small screen that I can see my video preview, but with this monitor, I can have it over there while I go through everything. And since this is a 5K display, I'm able to watch my 4K content in full resolution, so I can kind of see beforehand what you guys see whenever you're watching my videos. All right, so I need to see if this video is ready to go. So I'm gonna watch it a bit. A big fan of LEDs and RGB light. And quick note, do you hear the speakers? I think with LG's 38-inch ultra-wide, they introduced these new speakers that sound really crazy, have some deep bass. And I think they brought that here over as well. Because right now, hearing the quality, a big fan of LEDs and RGB lights and all that good stuff, like all I've got over here. And you can kind of just tell that this thing was built for the MacBook Pro because of the integration into the actual settings of the system. So when you go into the display settings, you can see that the Mac has settings for the LG monitor as well. So you can actually control the brightness right from the setting bar, and you can control the resolution as well. That is not something that we typically see with everyday monitors. Usually you just have a few options, but being able to control the brightness and the resolution and all that good stuff right from here is really, really nice. This thing has like 500 nits of brightness, so you can really push it here with no problem. Now, one last cool thing about this monitor is that when you're hooked up to it and you're using it as a display, this thing actually charges your MacBook. Now, it is not easy to charge this MacBook because it's drawing a lot of energy, especially if you're doing something intensive like video editing, but I'm charging it with no problem. So that's a very, very nice bonus. You can finish work here, and whenever you're taking your MacBook off, you can be sure that wherever you're going, you're gonna have some juice. All right, guys, so today's pretty much wrapped up. Did a lot of video work, and now I'm pretty much in chill mode, so I'm gonna be using the MacBook to do regular stuff like browse the internet, just do everyday things. And I think what's different here is how you interact with the touch bar. So to take full advantage of the touch bar, you gotta use an app that supports it. Right now I'm using Safari as a browser because that's usually where you try out most of the new features whenever Apple comes out with an update. Unfortunately, all the features of the touch bar you won't find on browsers like Google Chrome. As you can see right here, all of the functions just kind of went away. But if I go back to Safari, they pop all back up again. But what's cool here is that you can switch between tabs by just tapping. So you can see all the tabs. You can even create new ones just by going like this. And they all lead to Apple, of course. So there's a feature that a lot of people are starting to like with the touch bar, and that's with watching YouTube videos. You can kind of scrub through it by simply moving this little cursor around, and you can see the red bar moving up and down as I move it around. Now that's really cool, but it doesn't work with every video site. So if I were to go on something like, let's see, go over here, go to Crunchyroll. If I try to watch this video, there's no bar. So as you can see, not everything supports it just yet. So I guess that's going to be up to website developers also to go ahead and implement some of these features. I'm not sure if Google had a hand in that or if Apple themselves made it so that you can do that with YouTube, but that's going to be another thing. Now, of course, I spent more than a day with the MacBook Pro by the time you guys see this video, and I gotta say, I really do love the machine, but I gotta admit, Apple does make it a bit harder for those who are investing in this on the professional side of things. You do have to use dongles and cables to get your things all hooked up, and that part of it does suck. USB-C is going to be more popular soon in the upcoming days, so we're going to see more devices that work with just that. But as of right now, that transition period is going to be a bit rough for most people. Now, in terms of performance, this thing is a beast. It's fast, it's powerful, it's going to do everything you want. The only real hiccups I've had has been with the touch bar, sometimes having some faults because it's a bit buggy here and there. But overall, my experience with it has been pretty smooth. Typing on the keyboard has been super pleasant. The trackpad I'm not crazy about. As you can see, I did have a lot of clicking issues. Now I did end up changing my trackpad settings. Like I said, I was used to using the bottom right side, but I had to go ahead and change it to the 2-finger right click because that just worked a lot better. I didn't have any incidents with that one, but it is frustrating that I did have to change the way I was using it. And I gotta say, the performance is exactly what I expected. This thing is a beast, it's a powerhouse. I'm able to edit 4K footage with no problem whatsoever. I think it even performs better than my iMac, and I am really happy about that because this is now my main editing machine. Now, one thing I gotta say though is that even though you're getting that really awesome performance, you're not getting an insane battery life. I was actually pretty disappointed. Using Final Cut Pro and editing for a little bit gave me a few hours, but definitely nothing crazy. With regular use, you're gonna get more hours out of this, but I would not expect that 10-hour battery life that you see on the site. But like I said, guys, I'm really enjoying the new MacBook. The thing is powerful, it's got new features, it sucks that you have to use adapters. So if you're planning on picking one up, I say it's definitely worth it. But if the dongle life kind of scares you, you can wait a bit till more things come out on the market. And that about wraps it up for this video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Until the next one, it's your average consumer. Peace.